Blindside backing. Don't ever blindside back unless you absolutely have to. It is way too easy to get in an accident. It's called blindside backing for a reason. And don't ever get into that mindset where you think it's a good idea to blindside into anywhere unless it's a have to situation. There are situations out there where you will be put in a situation where you will have to blindside back. The secret to a blindside back, if you have to do it, is to try to get straight in line with the front of your truck so that you are not cocked to your blind side anymore, so you make it into a straight line back as quickly as you possibly can. And you need to get out. Use that goal. Goal means get out and look a lot. If you have someone who can guide you in, great. Because blindside backing is no joke if you have to do it, but only do it if you have to. There are truck stops that have those angled parking where it's a little better, but it's still blindside to a point to where it's hard for you to see until you get straight in front of your truck, which it's a little better if it's backing in from an angle, because you got those truck stops where you have the angled parking where all the trucks are facing each other, but everything's kind of like this all the way up the aisles, where your trucks, the people that are backing in from the left side are backing in blindside at an angle, and it makes it fairly easy. Usually depends on how tight these guys are, because sometimes they make these spots where the aisle isn't as wide, and sometimes you get a lot of truck drivers that aren't backing all the way into their spots, or the people on the back into that aisle backed over their line, and the guys that backed in couldn't back in all the way because of the people on the backside not backing in all the way. There's so many variables with backing when it comes to backing into spots. Are you backing into a dock, or are you backing into a parking spot? And are you backing into a corner spot where you're gonna be out of the way? But when you get into blindside backing, you will encounter docks where you are going to be up against stuff on your driver's side, like a wall, light poles, other things, where you are going to be forced into setting up as a blindside. Best thing to do is find reference points to help you, so that you know that your truck's not going to hit anything, because if you look out each way, your truck's in the right spot. So look for how much space there is. Look for the lines on either side of the truck where it's going to be. Look for objects and stuff that you can get lined up with. Go this far away from this pole or the wall or whatever. If my tires are this far away from this oil stain in the parking lot, this pothole, or just find things that aren't going to move on you with wind or whatever. Find stationary things, marks on the pavement, cracks in the pavement, whatever objects are around. Use whatever things that you can reasonably rely on to use as reference points while you're backing. It's a very good way of doing things. And then look for things that are straight in line reasonably with the dock that you're trying to line up with to pull up to. So to lots and lots of micro pull-ups, and just move a little bit until you want to wiggle in there, and be very, very careful. Blindside backing should never be done on a regular basis. Never make the mistake of getting into that mentality that you can perfect the blindside back, because there is no such thing. And the only way to do a blindside back correctly is to only do it if you're having to do it. So you show up to the truck stops, a lot of guys will whip out a blindside back like nothing and back in, and they'll do a fast just to get into a spot before anybody else takes it. And it is not worth it to get into that mentality, because you will start getting into wrecks if you're doing it all the time. And especially, I made the mistake as a newbie getting into that real cocky attitude where I was getting really good at backing, so I thought I could be really good at blindside backing. I'm gonna perfect the blindside back. There's no such thing. Never get into that mentality. Don't blindside back unless it's absolutely have to, and if you do it with extreme caution, because it's hard enough just to do regular back sometimes, especially when you're tired. I'm a hell of a backer. I can back into spots with no pull-ups a lot of times when I take it slow. That's the other secret, is to go slower. Your trailer does not get out of control and off kilter nearly as fast if you go slower. Creep into your spot and get lined up, and just follow into that spot, get lined up, and once you know you're not going to hit anything, very, very seldom will you be blessed with a spot where you can back into where there's nothing that you can hit, and you're going to be able to whip out a blindside back and not have to worry about hitting anything, because there's nothing in the spots next to it. But you might show up in the middle of the day to like a truck stop where not very many trucks are around yet, where there's like 3 or 4 more spots that have nothing in it, and you can easily just go ahead and go at it by the blind side, because you're not going to hit anything, and then you can get straightened out and get in. It might take you a couple extra pull-ups, but you can get in there pretty quick and just get into a spot that you like. That's not so bad, because if you have nothing around to hit, then that's a little bit different. But don't do it unless you have to. Blindside backing is never a good idea. Don't do it. Okay? Just don't do it unless you absolutely have to. Always look for easy places to get into. If you can find pull-in spots that are easy to pull into, great. Another thing is, don't get in the habit of nosing in all the time, because it's really hard to get straight in your spot, and it's kind of makes it hard for you to back out when you get ready to leave, because you're blindside back. You can get kind of blind in both mirrors at times when you try to back out. So try not to nose in, because it's not only making it harder on yourself, but most spots you're gonna have your trailer sticking out further than a lot of the other trucks in the aisle, and you're gonna be in other people's way, making it harder for them to back into spots. The spots open up around you, people that are trying to back into spots are gonna have less room. You stick out there next to 3 or 4 feet usually. Very seldom are you gonna have those spots that are deep enough that you can nose in enough to not be sticking out. And then most of the time you see guys that nose in are crooked. If you can get in there straight, that's really good, but a lot of times you see guys that do that crap and they're crooked, and it's not thinking about your fellow truck drivers when you get in there crooked and just say to hell with it. It's not thinking about your other truck drivers around you to have your trailer sticking out an extra 3-4 feet depending on how deep you were able to get in there. And then I've seen guys do that in corner spots, and the guys in the adjacent corner spots are almost locked into those spots because you're hanging out so far, and the guys that nosed in just don't pay attention, don't care. Oh, I don't want to sleep next to a reefer truck because I'm gonna have trouble sleeping. You can get used to that. You can get to the point where you can get used to hearing that, and you will be able to adapt. You just sleep next to noisy stuff enough, you will get used to it, and you will be able to sleep next to it. You won't even notice it eventually. Very rarely will a reefer actually keep you up after a while, because it'll become normal. Kind of like, you ever seen the movie My Cousin Vinny, where the guy was having trouble sleeping around the sound of barn animals and a loud train, but you get him near more of the city type noises that are going on all the time. He could sleep like really good because he's used to it. You get around the noises that you're used to, so you just gotta get yourself used to it. Anyway, don't do blindside backing unless you absolutely have to. If you have to do it, make it as easy as possible on yourself. Use those reference points, look for stuff to line up with, and get out as much as you can. And if it's possible to get out of doing it and to back into a spot that will allow you to back from the driver's side so you can see what you're doing, do it. Don't try to get in a hurry when backing. Creep into your spots. You'll actually get in there faster than if you just try to whip in there, because you'll wind up having to do extra pull-ups most of the time because you'll get out of whack usually. Sometimes you'll be lucky and you'll get right in, but when you speed things, the faster you do things, the faster it is to get out of whack and have to cause yourself to have to do a lot more pull-ups in the long run than you would if you just creep into your spots. Once you do a pull-up, you can literally compensate for mistakes within the same back without extra pull-ups. You can correct those easier going slower than just trying to go, oh, like really good back right, just get right in there. Alright. Blindside backing should never be done, but if you have to do it with extreme caution and make it get straight in line with your trailer in a straight line. When you're cocked off to that passenger side, try to get straightened out so you can see down both ends of your truck as quickly as possible, so you can make sure that you're not going to hit anything. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Please hit that like, leave any comments or questions, and I'll get back with you. And hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. And also you get notified of all future videos. Thanks, guys. Leave any extra comments about blindside backing down below, please.